Hello crafters, welcome back. Today I'm going to add my signatures to my journal cover. I will be moulding some flowers and using them to decorate the cover. I will also be dyeing some ribbons and making a start on some pockets and tags. Don't forget to download these free papers. The link will be below. This is how far we've got with our journal. We've got this card here from a cereal box that's holding it together, but I want to strengthen this because this will be opening and closing and I want to make sure it's strong enough. I've got some canvasy type material here and I'm going to get some PVA glue and I'm going to mix a little bit of water with the glue, so it's about a third water and 2/3 PVA, just so it's a little bit thinner. My PVA is quite a thick PVA. Now I want to protect my book. I'm going to just put my book inside this cereal bag. So I'm going to paint this PVA onto the back of this card or cardboard. Just make sure you get to the edges. And I'm going to place this on the back. Just push it down quite firmly. We do want to make sure that our book folds properly, so just make sure that the folds are nice and firm. And then I'm also going to put another layer of PVA over the top, just to give it some extra strength. The edges are probably the most important parts in the spine, and this will really strengthen your book up. Now I'm going to place this on a silicone mat just so that it doesn't stick. I'm going to leave it to dry. Now I'm going to measure my book, and it's about 6 inches by maybe 8 1/4. I want to cut out the shape that I want for my book. If it's 6 inches wide, I'm going to do this an extra inch, so I'm going to do this at 7 inches, just so I've got extra. Line these up. And as I said, my height was, I'm going to class it as 8 1/2 inches. I'm actually going to just cut along here, which would be about 9 1/2 inches. Bit of card that I cut away before, I'm going to use that to reinforce the spine. Should leave plenty of room that both sides fold up, and it does. I'm going to glue this down. Just place that down on there, so that's a double layer of card. Make sure that the sides fold up as well. And then I've got a piece of canvas which is just a little bit bigger than this shape. And I'm going to put a layer of glue. I'm going to put my canvas on top. And just glue it down, making sure that it's definitely sealed up where the spine is. And then I'm going to put another layer of PVA over the top of this, and just make sure that it still folds, which it does. And I'm going to put it onto a silicone mat, so I'm going to leave both of these to dry. I've trimmed all the canvas down around the edges of my book. I've trimmed the canvas round on the cover, and I've also cut it so it's approximately the right size for my book. Now the back of the book, I want it to be slightly rounded. So what I've got a tube here, and I'm just going to push it around the tube just to round it off slightly. I saved this bit of paper because this was probably my favourite piece of paper when I made it. Because I've put the canvas here, it will help to make everything a nice even colour. I'm going to do a layer of glue all around the front cover. And I'm going to put the paper on this part. Make sure that I position it where I want. If there's anything in particular that I want showing. I'm just going to peel this back. Attach it to this bit. I'm going to turn it over. I'm going to cut it roughly around the edges, leaving an overlap of about 3/4 of an inch. Doesn't have to be exact. And then at the corners, I'm going to cut a diagonal, but I'm going to leave a little tiny bit of space between the corner. So all 4 corners. And I'm going to apply some glue along the edges and then just glue the edges down. Just pushing the corners slightly, just so that they're not such a sharp angle. Just put that bin slightly in there, and I'm going to just leave this to dry. I'm going to cut a piece of paper and then I'm just going to allow this to dry. I'm going to put plenty of glue. Don't put glue on the back. You don't need glue on the back. Spread this out slightly. So make sure you've decided which is your front page, whether you want that as your front page, the front of your cover, or that as the front of your cover. And my book will be that way up. So I will fold this and just position it. So if you're sure that the fold line's up, I'm just going to put some of these just to hold it while it dries. And I'm going to do exactly the same for the back cover. So I'll line this up with the back. Just get the creases in the same place. Just make sure the crease is in the same place on this one. And just double check that everything's in the same place before it dries. Okay, my book's dry, and now I'm going to cover the inside covers. So I'm going to use these 2 pieces of paper here. So the first page, I want to do it right up to the edge of this. So if I put this along here, and I want my paper to go to approximately here, so I'll trim that off. I'm going to apply some glue. Put it right up to the paper. And apply. And I'm just going to get a damp cloth just to wipe the edges, so any glue that's there is not going to stick to the pages. I can also put a silicone sheet in as I close it to make sure that it doesn't stick. And the other side, about there. And put this right up to the edge of the paper and apply it. I'm now going to dye some ribbon. I've got two different types of ribbon here. I've got like a satiny white ribbon, and this one, I'm not sure if it's cotton. I don't think it is. Do maybe a couple of yards of each. I'm going to put it in a bag and I'm going to spray some water in the bag to dampen the ribbon. And then I'm going to get my homemade ink spray and just spray that in. So this will be the pink ribbon, and I'm just going to smush it around. I'll just need to let that dry. And I'm going to repeat that for some green ribbon as well. Now I've moulded some flowers in a mould. So I'm just going to take these flowers out, some little roses. I did these last night, so they're all nice and dry. And to use the mould, I had some pink clay, which I just coloured till it was the pink that I like. I used some coconut oil to stop it sticking. And then I just put the clay in and just push it down into the edges of the mould and just work my way along the mould. And you can use a tool or something to do it. So I'm just pushing the clay away from the edges of that shape. The last lot that you saw me take out, I just filled all of them up and I just left it overnight to dry. But if you want to do a lot of moulds in one go, you can do it like this. Just wiggle your mould. And then it should just peel out. It's a little bit soft. And then just place that on a piece of kitchen roll, which will help it dry. And just position it how you want. I've also moulded some of these roses, which is another Katie Sue mould. I'm going to colour some of these roses. So I'm going to use the same pink that I used on the papers and also the same green. I'm just going to flood the roses with this ink. And if you flood it, some of the ink will pool in the deeper cavities. And when it pools there, it will give you a variation. So the top bit will look slightly lighter and the bottom bit will look darker. These ones, I could probably just spray it directly into the rose. Probably be easier. I didn't want to do it with the other one because it would have gone over the leaves as well. Now I'm going to do the leaves in the same way, but just with the green. I'm going to decorate the front cover of my book. So first of all, I've got some lace, and I want the lace to go on the edge and overlap maybe an inch, maybe a little bit more than an inch. I'm just going to put some glue, and I'm also going to put a little bit of double-sided tape down the middle. Double-sided tape works great at first, but after a while it dries out a bit. So it's always a good idea to put a bit of glue as well, because then you get the benefit of both. I'm going to place my lace on the back as well. And on the back, I'm going to overlap it about an inch as well. I'm going to put my lace on and just trim my lace at the back where I want it to go. So I'm going to edge it with some ribbon, so it doesn't matter if it's not completely straight. Let's put some double-sided tape on the ribbon. Cut it in half, so half for the front and half for the back. Push this tape down well. And the same as I did before, I'm going to put a little bit of glue as well, just to make sure that it does stay. Be careful when you put the glue on the ribbon, because it can show through, so just put tiny little amounts. Just place that down there, inside out, and I'm just going to catch this down and at the bottom as well. And repeat for the back, on the back. And again, just clip it down just to make sure that it dries nicely. So now we'll just make sure that we're on the front. This is the front of our book, so our pages are the correct way up. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to decorate my book. One thing I'm going to try is a die cut. Now this is just a tomato puree tin. When I finish off tomato puree, I just cut open the packet. You can even get a bit of extra tomato puree out, and when you rinse it out, it's a nice sort of golden browny. It depends. Some of them can be quite dark, some of them can be quite light, and you can see with the different colours of these. So what I've done, I've put it through my die cutter with these dies, and I'm going to just take them off and take out the bits. Sometimes this can be a little bit of a pain. I'm just going to push out all the bits. I cut it out. I've also got a little journal word that I cut out as well, but I don't like the frame. It's just too big. So I've got the middle of the frame, which has come out, and I think I'm just going to use the middle of the frame there. I've also cut out a little lock, which I may use on the side. At the moment, I'm just experimenting really, just to see which bits I like and which bits I don't like. And all these bits that I cut out, I just put them away, and then when I make something in the future, they might be absolutely perfect for it, so they're not wasted. Yeah, and I'm going to ink around the edges of the book. I'm also going to ink on the ribbon and the lace. Pop that back on in case it's not dry. Make sure that I'm at the front of the book. Always best to keep double checking. I'm going to ink around the side of this. Yeah. And the lock. Now the roses that I did earlier, what I'm going to do is I'm going to dampen paper, a sponge, anything you want, and I'm just going to wipe off the top edges of the rose, and that will get the top layer of ink off. And can you see how it lightens it up and makes it more three-dimensional? The leaves as well, and the stems. What do these roses look like? So I want the through. See what it looks like with that. leaf off, because if I put that on it's going to make it a little bit bulky. Maybe cut some of that stem off as well. Put a few bits of glue just under the edges. So this is all attached now, and all I want to do is just trim it to size. And I'm just going to tuck it around slightly on the inside. And I really just want the barest edge just tucked over. And I'll put these on just to, same as along the centre bit. I've die cut a few pockets and things. I think I'm going to use this one to just add into the corner. I'm going to ink it. I want to ink the corners as well, or the edges I should say. Glue along the edges. And this was just die cut out of one of the papers that I decorated. And this is another one that I will use, not just yet, but I want, while I've got this out, I may as well just ink the edges of this, which I've cut out of the printed bit. That can go on there. I've got this one and this one cut out. So here's a few more die cuts that I've cut out. Okay, I think I'm going to do them on this one. I'm just going to fold the sides of this in. To attach these. And these are all going to make little tuck spots and things to pop tags and journaling and things to journal on. Okay, so I'm going to attach these. Quite nice on top of the pink because it almost emphasises the colours. I'm just going to ink this. I don't know if the ink will even show up because it's quite dark. So there's a couple of little pockets and things. These were some bits that I trimmed off of the pages, and as you can see they were like this on the bottom of pages like this, and I've just used edge dies to trim them, so these can also go in places. You can also use them on so if I wanted to use this for pockets, I could put one of these along the bottom or a few of these along it. I quite like that one. So what I might do while I'm doing this, I may as well ink these up. Again, if I don't use them, it doesn't matter. Save them for another project. I have a couple of roses that I've cut out. So I can go around the edges of these. And these can be used somewhere. Even if you just use it on the bottom of places like this. So it's just going through your book and deciding what you would like where. So I could put this. So I've cut some tags out here. Again, I'm going to ink around the edges. I'm very good at forgetting one side, and halfway through using them I think, oh, I didn't do the other side. There's some tags. So we can cut some of these ribbons and put them in the tags. So we can do it matching. So pink ribbons, so it's almost the same colour, or you can do a contrasting ribbon. These are a little bit long as well. Let's trim them down. These can go in your pockets and things as you do them. So for instance, you could put one there, one there, one there, or if you've got this as a pocket, you can use that as a pocket. Again, you can put more than one tag in each place. You can even make your own tags. So if you've got pieces like this, you can put them down there, and then that would make a nice little tuck spots for bits and pieces. Thank you for watching this video. I do hope that you enjoyed it. On my next video, I'll be putting some finishing touches to the cover, and I'll be adding lots of tucks, pockets, tags and journaling spots inside the journal. Don't forget to download your free papers. The link is in the description, as I will be showing you ways to use them in your journal. Please subscribe so you don't miss my next video. I do hope you will join me. Please like, comment and subscribe. Goodbye for now.